We are a little bit over a week out on forecasting, and so I want to catch us up and just stabilize the picture a little bit in the middle of everything going on, just so you can get a picture of what we're doing energetically underneath the surface of all of the events that are happening right now. So I'm just going to flip the camera around and let's go for it. So first I'm going to show us where we're at. I am recording this on Thursday afternoon, February the 6th, 2025 at about 20:04 Pacific Standard Time. I do expect some sort of event to kick off here. I do not know what it is. I don't know if it's energetic or physical. So I'm going to do this forecast for us with the full knowledge that kind of some of our landscape might change a little bit, but the underlying is not going to change. What I'm going to show you will give you an understanding and appreciation of the greater events that we are living through. Now, before I get started with the up pan and the down pan, I just want to give a quick overview on the financials. So getting back into the Somatic Money, Body-Based Money Relationship, and the Somatic Money Oracle deck. These are the cards that I pulled. Very interesting. I pulled the timing card, and this is basically Spirit World saying, it's all about timing. It's all about timing. You cannot speed things up or slow things down, even though I kind of feel like we multidimensionally are. But they're basically saying the sequence and the timing is the sequence and the timing, and you cannot rush things. And I think we all know what they are speaking to. Now, it's very interesting that this is all affecting very deeply our power and our empowerment. And this is hitting hard in our solar plexus, and it might also be hitting our adrenals. So whatever's going on with timing for you at the larger picture or even in your financial picture, it's a timing issue. Be doing your supportive self-care with your solar plexus because it's definitely hitting solar plexus. And I thought this was such an interesting third card to pull. This is basically saying, don't put stuff in black and white. So when you're looking out into the world with what is going on today, and also when you're looking at your finances, be sure to pan back a little bit and move away from that whole black, white, good, bad, up, down. You want to move away from the duality, and you want to move into the integration, the grays, the centers, the negotiating center points of things. And the best way you can do that, because if you're triggering, like if you're dealing with timing and you've got solar plexus stuff going on with triggers, because that's what that is, it's asking you to integrate. It's asking you to ground, breathe, center, and in that center place, locate the nuances, the gray areas, maybe things you hadn't considered before, okay? So these were the primary cards getting pulled. Spirit team is saying for the next 10 days. Now, do I think the wait is that much longer? Not from what I can tell. Every morning I get up and they're giving me all these positive signals, and I basically deflect to them and go, yeah, right, I'll believe it when I see it. I probably shouldn't do that, but I think they're trying to get us ready for something. Anyway, so we are just finishing up a really solid run of Chiron squaring, Chiron the wounded healer squaring up a Mars. And so if you had a lot going on with taking action with your needs, especially with inner wounding and healing inner wounding, that is what that is all about. Mars retrograde in Cancer, training Saturn in Pisces. This is about encouraging people to consider their long-term goals and aspirations. Now, so we go from action in one area and shift it into another, and look at this Mars trine Saturn thing runs for a solid 6 days. So that's going to be the shift there, and that's a pretty important one to pay attention to. So then we are gradually coming into something that is heating up here that I find quite fascinating. This is a Sun conjuncting Mercury, and I took another look, and it's like Mercury Sun series conjuncting one another while all of them are squaring with Uranus. And so let's take just a real quick look at the meaning on that. So a Sun in Aquarius squaring Uranus and Taurus is a potential tension between a need for individuality and freedom versus a need for stability and security. And because it's Uranus, there would be a potential for sudden changes happening with all of this. And then you take a look at Mercury in Aquarius squaring Uranus and Taurus, and potential for unexpected disruptions and changes in communication, especially concerning value of stability, creating clashes and friction. And then when you put together Mercury Sun Ceres conjuncting in Aquarius, this is your communication style is deeply aligned with a sense of self and your nurturing instincts. So this is all heating up in a really interesting connective place while Mars is trining Saturn. And then it's really interesting as this is playing out, we pick up on this whole node conjuncting Neptune, North Node conjuncting Neptune, and that is happening in Pisces. And that is all about a creation of magnified desires, fantasies, and illusions. So you've got a really punchy thing going on here with longer term goals. And then we land in La La Land, basically, right through there. And then in the backdrop, you've got some Lilith trining with the sun. And then it all the astrological stuff kind of becomes a moot point at the end of the week. I can't tell you, like, this little activity is unheard of. I think this is a really interesting movement as we head into some potential things going on here. Now, I also want to walk you guys through the timeline stuff. And somebody said, Dana, what about all the colors? Well, the only two colors you really need to pay attention to are the blue is the timeline and the green is the energy gateway stuff. All these other colors is just for me to mix and match what's going on with the astrology. So basically here, last week we did, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We did 8 days of timeline jumps. That's unheard of. That means things are going on behind the scenes that we don't know about and changes are happening. There was one little bit of a gateway day here, but interesting, this week we left off with the timeline jumping and we moved into gateway day, 3 gateways. And you can tell the difference, and I'm noticing the difference because when you land in a gateway day, it's basically a time for assessment and making big decisions, because the timeline jumping is movement and expansion and consciousness development. And then energy gateways are basically saying, they're kind of landing you on the train platform saying, what do you want to do? What decisions do you want to make? Where do you want to go? And that's very much what this feels like right now. It feels very connected to coding, making big decisions and doing deep coding work. So we came off the timeline jumps, and now we're kind of in a bit of a stasis, doing some deep decision making. We've got a little bit of a room of no timeline jumps or gateways, but we've got this big astrology thing going on here, the Mars trine Saturn, while Sun conjunct Mercury with Ceres and Uranus. Like, that heats up. This is a big deal. And then we move into 2 big gateway jumping days, and Spirit Team is saying it's only 2, but do not underestimate them. These are pretty big days. And then right after that, 3 energy gateway days for making decisions. I also wanted to point out, I went back and checked, there has been a lot of solar activity. Just want you guys to know that. I think yesterday and today was the first day of a downturn on solar activity. And I haven't paid too much attention to Schumann's. I did go back and look a little bit, and Schumann's has been on the low side as well. So most of our action energetically right now is through some of the astrology and then these gateway jumps and energy gateways. So that should give you an idea of what we've got going on. So that's what I've got for you for now, just on some basic energy forecasting, energy landscape, so you can kind of see the nature of what we're walking through at this point. And as soon as I know more, I will come back with an update for you.